falling start once again then for our micros. These may well get around in one lap. They run a slightly different tyre to our other classes as we go through. There's no light at the top, which does mean we are going racing. Daniel Minto then leading the way over the line for the first time, as they then make their way towards that second chicane as Caden Simpson looked to either make a move or was defending, as we've got Riley Buckton-Young there, I think, spinning out of the mid-pack in the 66, and he's beached on the kart, the rear wheels there, up onto a concrete curb that mean they're not touching the ground, which means he isn't going anywhere without the assistance of the helpers out there on track. So we do have a couple of pushes there helping us there in the high vis in the middle of the track. Needed there on that occasion because Riley was beached up on a curb. Minto then leading the way as they come over the line for the first time. Aston Brown and Logan Lauder look to be going side by side, but it is Minto leading the way from Samuel Lowdy, Toby Jukes, James Tate, Caden Simpson, Aston Brown, Logan Lauder, James Roberts, Harry Neeson and Jack Hutchinson. Your top 10 in front of Alex Jones, and then Riley Buckton-Young crossing the line. Move down the inside there, Roberts on Lauder. Lauder's going to try and get the cut back, but Roberts chops straight across to the inside to make sure that he can't come back through down the inside into the back chicane here. But then in the background we see Neeson going slightly wide. Brand new sticker kit on that kart this weekend, looking a little greyer than his normal white, but looks quite nice. Quite aggressive, in fact, that sticker kit on the Harry Neeson's kart. As there's another move down the inside there from James Roberts, this time on Caden Simpson. So that's going to move him up into the top 5, as that's James Tate sliding down the inside of Toby Jukes for 3rd place. And that is also going to allow James Roberts to come through, because Roberts was carrying loads more speed than both Jukes and Tate in front, because they were mid-overtake. James Roberts really the driver on the move here. Minto still leading the way though from Samuel Lowdy at the head of the field, and Roberts now is going to get a good run on James Tate down the back straight into the double apex right and onto start finish, using all of the curbs and a little bit of concrete as well on exit there for Roberts. The gap to the lead is 3.3 seconds. Minto has started to open a gap up a little bit more from Lowdy at the head of the field. He's gone out to over a second for the first time. But let's see whether Roberts can, at the very least, reel in Samuel Lowdy in 2nd place. He certainly seems to have a little bit of pace. There's Caden Simpson, I think, heading down the inside of Toby Jukes. And Jukes all the way around the outside and almost chops the nose off Caden Simpson around there. But Jukes holds on for 5th place then. This is going to be a good battle now, because that's allowed both Neeson and Logan Lauder to close right up, and Neeson's going to get a good run down the inside, although Caden Simpson does have a little bit more. Goes round the outside. Toby Jukes there with a personal best, holding on to that 5th place. And Aston Brown as well now closing up, who had a really strong start to the season at fullback. He really put himself in the picture for the at the head of the Micro Max. He's got to try and come through now. Neeson's going to get down the inside of Caden Simpson. It's going to move him up into 6th place. Aston Brown has found a way past Logan Lauder as well in the background. So 2 moves into the same corner. Lauder's though is going to get the run down the inside as Neeson gets past Toby Jukes. It's the run down. I thought Logan Lauder was going to get down the inside of Aston Brown. Certainly had the speed to do so, but Brown slightly later on the brakes and does manage to run around that corner, around the outside and hold on. Can he get past Caden Simpson now, as Simpson takes a completely different line? Aston Brown's going to try and chop across, but can't, because Logan Lauder's got the nose down the inside into the top hairpin. Lauder though is still going to be on the inside, gives Aston Brown a cart width on the outside, but that's enough for Logan Lauder to slot back in to 8th place. There's still nose to tail though behind Toby Jukes. Harry Neeson's managed to move through and has started to gap this back pack behind, so it's still 4 deep then from Toby Jukes in 6th place all the way down to what's now Aston Brown. As Caden Simpson got enough, gets alongside down the inside. Jukes has to take a huge amount of curb. Simpson's going to get hung out, and Aston Brown is going to push Logan Lauder all the way through. Simpson's going to drop 2 places and could even fall back into the clutches of Alex Jones now in the background, as Jones gets alongside, but he is on the outside. Now we'll cut back to the inside. Simpson should have enough speed down there to go all the way round the outside, I think, and hold on. Will the blue car come out in front? He doesn't. It's Alex Jones through into 9th place. So difficult lap from Caden Simpson. That all started from an overtake attempt early on. Alex Jones now, that kart really coming to him in the latter part of this race. Finds a way past Aston Brown and is going to come down the inside of Dukes as well, is he? No, Dukes is going to hold on. And there's contact between Dukes and Alex Jones. They both go round. They were going to 2 into 1, just wasn't going to go into there, and that has split the Minimax pack up now. Dukes is going to try and battle back now with Jones, the 2 drivers there. Dukes went up onto the curbs to defend that position. Jones tried to go round the outside. Unfortunately, they met on the apex and round they went in that spin. Here we go then. Let's have a quick look as we see Dukes going wide. The move down the inside sees Jones down there. Dukes tries to stick it out round the outside, takes that curb on the inside, and there's contact there with Jones on the exit. Arms up off the steering wheel as well there on that one. Not sure how the clock will see that, but either way, it has seen Alex Jones come through into 9th place, although he was coming through. I think he would have potentially got all the way up to 6th, given how much speed that he was carrying. And towards the latter part of this race, was certainly showing some good times. Really came out of nowhere to join that battle from Neeson, who's now moved away from Lauder, Brown and Simpson. And then we had Alex Jones and Toby Dukes. Yeah, Jones came out of nowhere to join the back of that, but when he was right on the back, he was moving through at a fair rate of knots. As we see Riley Buckton-Young now trying to close in on the back of Jack Hutchinson. Young, who had that spin on the opening lap that saw him beach, is now trying to close in on the back of Jack Hutchinson. Has a minute and 20 plus 1 lap to do it. He's carrying a huge amount of speed round that bottom corner. Is Buckton-Young. So around about half a second is the gap to Jack Hutchinson. I think we'll stick with this one before we go towards the end of the race. I don't know, because I thought the Buckton-Young was going to close right in on the back there. What we do have is James Roberts closing in on Samuel Lowdy for the lead, or for 2nd place, sorry. Minto comfortable in the lead. It looks like Buckton-Young has managed to find a way then past Jack Hutchinson there, the driver in the red, white and blue car, making his way through into 11th place. Hutchinson then drops to down into 12th. This is the battle for 2nd place though. Samuel Lowdy has held on to that 2nd place since the start. Daniel Minto from pole position did manage to move away. The gap 2.5 seconds. James Roberts came through the pack and he's within 7 or 8 tenths on the previous lap of Samuel Lowdy in 2nd. Will he be close enough to make a move towards the end of this race? 6 tenths is the gap. We'll have another 2 laps of racing then in the Minimax ranks here at Lydd. Lap and a half then. Minto already round that top hairpin. 2.5 seconds. Not pulling out a huge chunk lap on Samuel Lowdy, maybe 1 or 2 tenths every now and again. James Roberts is going to try and close in towards. There's a good battle now going on for 4th place between Tate and Neeson. Neeson's come through the pack and is really, really closed up, so we'll keep an eye on that as we head towards the tail end of this race. The time has elapsed, so we're going to go towards the last lap board on the overhead gantry. It was 6 tenths on the previous lap. Lowdy puts in a personal best when he needed it the most, but still I think it's going to see James Roberts close a 10th or 2. Certainly looks like it on the screen. Half a second is the gap. Might not be enough for James Roberts to close in and be close enough to make a move on Samuel Lowdy, although Lowdy goes wide round the hairpin at the end of the track into the back chicane then. Will Roberts get enough of a run out of this corner to close up and make a move into the double apex right? I'm not sure he's going to be close enough though. Out of the final corner though comes Daniel Minto. Light stuff like victory for him. Roberts does close up, but not enough. Needed another lap. Lowdy holds on for 2nd. Roberts in 3rd to complete the top 3. Then we're going to have about 5 or 6 seconds back to Neeson, who has come through for 4th place, gets past Tate on the final lap. Lauder will be a comfortable 6th as he crosses the line. And then there's that battle now between Aston Brown and Alex Jones. They come over the line side by side. Brown holding on to 7th place in front of Jones, Caden Simpson. Then we're going to have Toby Dukes as well, completing your top 10 here at Lydd.